Welcome to the NTSC 5 and 5 series where I, Ashwin Krishnan, host amazing CISOs on Standout in 90 Sec. Today my guest is Jason Witty, Chief Security Officer of USAA. Questions to him how his role as a CISO has evolved over the past 3 to 5 years, the evolution of ransomware and what can a CISO do to effectively mitigate against this threat, the cyber talent shortage in our industry and how he deals with the cyber talent shortages and the openings. On the person side, what's his one biggest regret and why? And what's his proudest achievement and why? Watch on. So, Jason, how has your role as a CISO evolved over the last, let's say, 3 to 5 years?
It has changed tremendously. I mean, I think there's the transition from being a technical leader to being a coach to being a business executive to really thinking about things from a board member perspective. CISOs have to wear a tremendous amount of hats at the same time now, and that really is quite different from a lot of other executives.
Ransomware continues to evolve, and from your perspective, what can a CISO do to be a little bit better prepared and for a good outcome?
One of the things that I like about ransomware is that it's predictable in how it works. So regardless of the strain, there's going to be a defined pattern of somewhere between 6 and 9 steps that's going to happen. And so the more that you can think about the kill chain associated with it and trying to stop that kill chain at step 1, 2, or 3 and not 7, 8, or 9, the better. But, simple things like having strong authentication for all your remote access and systems, having a multi-factor authentication for any sort of privileged access internally certainly limits the blast radius, making sure you've got good patch management practices and hygiene around that, making sure you've got good backups and that they're offline and you can get them, immutably from somewhere in the event that you missed everything else. Those are a few, really simple ones that I think if you're super good at those few things, that helps quite a lot.
So there are multiple articles every day about the cyber talent shortage, and yet we continue to struggle with open recs in organizations. Like, what are your tips and how do you kind of address this?
Two things on that. One, I think this was more acute of a problem 2 years ago than it is today. There's a lot of alternative pipeline organizations that are available now, like Apprenti or Level Up or Year Up, or a number of those sorts of organizations that are really geared towards helping get non-traditional talent into the pipeline, and that's helped quite a lot. But I would also say that just given the state of the U.S. economy in particular, there's a lot of bench right now for really talented people that are looking to make their next move or that are already sort of not in a job currently. So I think the supply and demand side has changed quite a lot in the last 18 months. Not to say that we don't continue to need a lot of focus on those types of programs and education and upskilling and getting more people into the cyber field. Great field to be in, generally negative unemployment, but something that I think that the dynamics have actually gotten a little bit better for hiring leaders over the last probably 6 to 9 months.
Two personal questions. The first one, what's your biggest life regret and why?
Yeah, so I'm kind of known for not having any regrets, but if I had one, I would probably say letting my children be raised by Google.
And last question, what's your proudest achievement and why?
This one I love. My proudest achievement is actually one of the things that solidified why I got into leadership and why I got into management over kind of being the smartest person in the room all the time. And it was simply this. I had an employee that was about to be fired, definitely lowest performer on the team. Nobody liked them. They didn't like anybody, and relatively older gentleman. And within about a 3-month period, I realized what was going on with this person, and no one had ever really connected with them on a personal level. And really it was all about nobody understood what job they were doing on the mainframe. Nobody respected the mainframe as a platform. Nobody understood CF2 and how complicated some of the rules were, and how he was doing high-level qualifier logic and all that. And I was the first manager that took time to go out of my way to get my ACF2 certification and actually learn his job so that I could help advise and that sort of thing. And you fast forward about 18 months later, we had a great relationship. He was a exceeds expectation employee. People were like, what did you do to him? And it's like, all I did is understand him. So that is by far my best career moment.
Awesome. Thanks for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you.